could not move past this without me coming to you on this question, though. Because we talk about sometimes receiving an instruction or call from God or a mission. And some people think it's always got to be big. For somebody, it may be whatever your career path is or whatever the business he might want you to start eventually. But for some people, y'all on here, it might not always be that big. Like, you know how sometimes a parent to the young people, your parents sometimes might give you a big project. I want you to go like clean a house. But sometimes they just might say, I need you to go pick that piece of trash up. But regardless of whether I ask you to clean the house or just pick up the trash, it's still an important instruction for me to get to you. So sometimes God's simple instruction is stop talking to that person. That friend ain't good for you. That boyfriend ain't good for you. Or I'm calling you to use your time in this way. Show up to class on time. Like the question that I'm getting at though, Armani, is when God speaks to us, what are some of the ways we know it's God speaking? What does God have to do sometimes to speak to us and get our attention? Because all of us don't hear from God the way Jonah did. Like we don't hear, I want you to do this. So what does that look like? When God is trying to give us an instruction, an assignment, a mission, a purpose, what are some of the ways he speaks?
I will definitely say that God speaks to me first. When it's coming like directly to me and I'm like listening, God will speak to me in my thoughts. And I know that sounds a little weird, but I always like to discern the thoughts that are God versus the ones that aren't God by what is pushing me closer to my purpose. And that space of being uncomfortable, I know, like I'm older than y'all, well, the teens. So I know at this point in my life and in my spirituality, when God is pushing me towards something that's super uncomfortable for me, but it's attached to my purpose. And those things, like when Pastor Battle said, like those things that make you be like I don't want to do that. 9 times out of 10, I know that it's God because I don't want to do it, but I know I'm fully aware that it's attached to what I'm supposed to be doing inside of the earth. So I would say that like when you know it's God is when it's either leading you to God or it's making you feel uncomfortable or real like agitated in something that you know is pushing you towards your purpose.
That's so good, Armani. And for those who are taking notes, I hope you took down what she said. Sometimes God will speak to us through what seems to be our own thoughts. And I remember being in the season where I was trying to figure out like the voice of God. And this is what I made a practice of doing. I would constantly say, God, is this you? God, is that you? And even if he doesn't necessarily answer me in the moment, it's still a prayer. And he might take that prayer and answer it another way later on by confirming it. And like 3 hours later, somebody sends you a text that like confirms what you was just asking God. Was that you? You know what I'm saying? Or something will happen. So sometimes when you're not sure, I encourage people, just say, God, is this you? God, are you challenging me? What are you calling me to start, stop, or get better at? Right? That's a good question to ask.